So good morning, and I guess it really is good morning for you, Falguni. It's just a little past midnight in India. But good morning to everyone. I'm Marie-Josèe Kravis, and I'm Chair Emerita of the Economic Club of New York. This next session will be a conversation which I'm delighted to be moderating, and it's really my honor to introduce my friend and our guest today, Falguni Nayar. Falguni founded Nika in 2012 with the vision of building a multi-brand, omni-channel, beauty-focused retail business. By empowering consumer choices and enabling brands to reach the breadth and depth of the country, Nika has emerged as India's leading beauty retailer, playing a critical role in developing the beauty market in India. After graduating from IIM Ahmedabad, Falguni started her career in consulting with A.F. Ferguson and Company. She then spent 18 years at Kotak Mahindra Bank at the helm of several businesses, and she was the managing director at Kotak Mahindra Investment Bank and director at Kotak Securities, the bank's institutional equities division. Falguni is the recipient of several prestigious awards and accolades in recognition of her achievements and the crucial role she plays in transforming the beauty and wellness e-commerce sector in India. And I'm going to add as a personal comment that Falguni is not only a remarkable business person, she is also a committed, engaged, attentive mother of two wonderful, now also business executives, and a really supportive friend. Every time I've been to India, Falguni has been there to teach me so much about her country and to spend time that she doesn't have, really assisting anybody who wants to learn about India and spends time there. So Falguni, thank you for joining us in the middle of the night for you, and congratulations on the success of Nika. But having been there almost at its birth, I'd like you perhaps to take us through your vision and your decision to leave a remarkable career in the investment banking industry in India, a leading career that you had, and deciding to form your own business and take this entrepreneurial risk, because it was a huge risk at the time. And just take us through how you were able to get this going.
Thank you very much, Marie-Josèe, for the kind words of introduction. And I have truly enjoyed our friendships, and I've found our interactions both with you and Henry fantastic. And I've always learned from both of you. So it's been an amazing friendship, and I've learned a lot. I think I will go back and tell the whole group about how it all began. I think I had been a long career banker, and as a banker, I had come across a lot of entrepreneurs, and I was quite fascinated by their ability to have a vision and see into the future and want to believe in that future and work at making it happen. And it always used to be against a lot of naysayers who always felt that I remember those early days when someone in India would say, we want to build a Disney-like studio, and people will say, how are you going to build a Disney-like studio in India? Or how are you going to, and that person went on to build a studio and sold it to Disney later. Or when someone wanted to build a port or a multiplex business, and everybody said, in India, no one will pay these kind of money to watch movies. And I think I always felt that I wanted to similarly look ahead and think of an industry that I can build in the country. So as I looked around, I found that the beauty industry was not doing well at all. I think every beauty brand was leaving the country. I think around that, I remember Lancome left India, and most of the people used to say that there is no demand for really beauty in India. And as I looked, I felt the US was a great market for beauty. So was Korea and Japan. And I said, why is India not able to build this industry? And I felt that it was because of geographic diversity of India, where it's a large country, and beauty is a very, we call it, it's a long tail industry. There are lots and lots of products. And in an early nascent industry, it would be hard to do well there. So I went about offering beauty through online. I was inspired by what Amazon was doing in the US. And I think that was an idea I wanted to pursue. And I remember I kept telling my husband that I want to do this. And he kept saying, how are you going to do this? And I think Henry and Marie-Josèe gave him good advice that if she wants to do it, let her do it. And I think that's where the journey started. So I have a big thank you for both you and Henry and Marie-Josèe.
The journey started maybe in that way, but it's not easy to start a business. And one of the issues that women in the US bring up very much so is access to capital and mentorship and support and so on. Do you find that in India that women have the same challenges or same problems or they face the same skepticism as women here?
So I have felt that I personally haven't felt the glass ceiling, and I have felt that I'm a believer that if women must want to dream for themselves and they must want to do, they must kind of lean in kind of philosophy. They must want to lean in and take on more responsibility and commitment to their business, and then things fall into place. Personally, I haven't felt adversity in fundraising, but I came from investment banking. I came from institutional broking. I understood the language. And I think I could deal with fundraising more easily. I can well see where the issues come about. I think the problem also sometimes lies in doubting women's commitment to the business. And I personally feel that one should not doubt the commitment. I think this also happens as a professional when you have a young woman coming to work for you, and she's going to go through this really early career as well as young parenthood. And one almost starts thinking that will she commit herself? And when you look at it, I think the exception or some amount of juggling that she needs to do is just for a few years. And if society were to support that and workplaces were to support that, in the long run, the quality of commitment and quality of work one can get out of women is fantastic. So I think there is a long-term view of women entrepreneurs or long-term view of women professionals. If an organization or an investor is willing to take, then I think it can be a win-win.
So talk to us about the online nature of your business. I was really struck, for example, that a good part of the online business in India, contrary to the US and maybe Europe also, is a cash business where you have cash, you have delivery and immediate cash payment and so on. Could you explain how that works? Because I don't think that's well understood here.
Yeah, I think you're doing an excellent job bringing to your listeners about the nuances of Indian market. So I think India is known to not have succeeded in usage of credit cards because a lot of business in India is being done in cash for various reasons, because there's a large amount of community that those are self-employed professionals or they're small businessmen, and a lot of their business happens in cash, especially it's changing slowly, but it used to be the case. And as a result, everybody said online will never work because when you have to make the payment using credit card in those early days, and now, of course, digital manner of payment, customers will not accept it. And I think for that, the Indian e-commerce industry came up with a very interesting way to deliver. It's called cash on delivery, which means that customers can place an order, opt for cash on delivery, and at the time of delivering the package, the courier boy collects the money. And then he puts it, the whole courier network puts it into our bank accounts in each of the cities. So this was a very interesting way of doing business we came up with. And in early days, almost 60% of our business used to happen through cash on delivery.
But I think here the reaction is, doesn't some of that cash get lost or stolen, or how does that system work?
No, so I think India can handle it. So it's just cash on collection. And then there is an accountability with the courier companies where they go and deposit in the banking system. So it doesn't really, it won't get lost. I think the point is that, yes, online businesses have a lot of fraud, but, we are a digital company and we believe in digital data checks. So we actually monitor consumer history, and the consumers who order, suppose, more than 3 orders that they send back, they don't accept delivery. Because the problem with cash on delivery is also that the customer may place an order and never accept it. So there is a whole delivery leg that we spend on without any return. So I think what we do is we actually track consumer history, and if they're misusing cash on delivery, then we actually don't offer it to them, and we will only offer them a prepaid option. So the beauty in a technology world is technology empowers us to do so much at scale. So much complexity at scale can be dealt very easily.
Is that so that is changing now? The payments process is becoming more technology driven?
Yeah, definitely. Payment process is technology driven, but our technology working backward can decide which customers to offer COD to and where to not offer COD, so that there's no misuse.
So let's talk about the the product, because you began with very few beauty lines, developed your own, Nika. Nika is the name of the company, but you also developed a house brand. How did you bring in all of these international brands and convince them?
So I think it was early days when we launched the business, actually pre-Nika. Even the biggest beauty brands in the country through Estee Lauder as well as L'Oreal were not retailing online. They were only retailing through physical retail. And what was sold online were just some small domestic brands, Indian brands. I think Nika wanted to change it. And I actually went and convinced a lot of companies to list it online. And I didn't realize, but my past and my credibility that I had built as a banker came in to help there. And I could convince a lot of big companies from L'Oreal to Estee Lauder to retail beauty online with us on very, very good principles of authenticity. And, we were protecting them for counterfeit products, because counterfeit is very big in beauty industry all over the world. And we decided to do inventory-led business so that we protect it from there. But soon we realized that our Indian customers wanted beyond that. So we actually started traveling the world. We went to Korea, we went to Japan, we went to Middle East. We convinced brands like Huda, Charlotte Tilbury, the entire bunch of Korean brands to come and offer their products into the country. So India became a very great market for those brands. And for Indian customers, it became a very exciting market because some of the best of global products were available in the country. And now we are embarking on a similar journey in fashion where, again, we are bringing brands like NAKD from Sweden. We are bringing Misguided from Europe into India, and Indian consumers are benefiting from getting global products.
And how did you balance this international broadening with also the need and the desire for Indian women to have Indian brands and more traditional products? Is that through Nika itself?
No, Nika Cosmetics is a global brand originating mainly out of Europe, mainly Germany and Italy. However, I think skincare is where the Indian products are very popular. You're aware that we have a lot of natural ingredients like saffron or turmeric or many Ayurveda-based products, which have always been used in our country and in our tradition, and women have always enjoyed using those. So what we did was we, of course, have many of these products we offer under our line called Nika Natural. And of course, there are many other Indian companies offer similar products. But we combine the Indian science or Indian ingredients with global science. And we actually made Korean sheet mask with Indian ingredients. So instead of going for snail mask or some of the Korean products which are popular like ginseng, which Indians don't know what ginseng is, I think what we did was we gave them Korean sheet masks, but with Indian ingredients like turmeric and saffron and yogurt and all the products that they're familiar with and they've used all their lives. And that was really win-win.
So tell us, what was the biggest challenge in terms of establishing the brand? Because starting from zero and having, yes, of course, all of these brands on your platform was important, but Nika itself had to develop a very strong brand recognition. What was your biggest challenge in getting there?
So I think I used to think very hard about how to build a brand and how to get virality and how to really get trust. I think brands cannot trust. And I do remember that the symbol of trust in India, at least, and it must be in the West also, but is a banyan tree, and a banyan tree is old and more than 100 years old with long branches that touch the root. The branches touch the roots. And I said, how am I going to get trust in such a short time? But I think what we did was we paid a lot of attention to what brands stood for. We do believe that many of our customers, which are millennials and Gen Z, they are very authentic and they really want brand to live by their, how we have values as a human being. I think they want brands to have values and they want brands to be very authentic and transparent and demonstrate their values in every respect. So I think Nika came up with, firstly our name Nika stood for something. So the word Nika means an actress. And that was our message to Indian women, that let the spotlight of your life be on you. You should be the primary actor in your life and your life should not be about others. And it was our message to women to want to dream for themselves and and they should have the freedom to pursue their dreams. So I think this message is something that our customers really related to. They had seen their mothers for too long, compromise their ambition and their careers for balancing the family, and they were not ready to live their lives that way. And they wanted the courage, and they were unapologetic about what they wanted for themselves, and they really related to Nika's message. And I think just without us knowing, we started realizing that Nika meant a lot to our customers, and we started getting this whole virality and what we call as brand love, which was just immense. And today also we're just amazed at the amount of brand love that we get from our customers and for community in general, because Nika's always stood for authenticity and what we stand for. And another message we gave to women was that we understood Indian women. They wanted to be beautiful and use beauty products mainly for themselves and not to really please a man or a woman. They didn't want to be objects of attention, but they wanted to do it for themselves. So with that kind of definition of beauty, it was very empowering, and it broke all the traditional barriers and ways of looking at it. There was a time when people would say, "Oh, don't wear red lipstick; it connotes some negative, positioning." But I think with us, it was like she can wear whatever color of the lipstick she wants.
It's very interesting. As you're speaking, a question came up on the chat saying, what role would the beauty industry play in the empowerment of women? And I think you've answered a big part of that.
Yeah, that's true. And also, with even our fashion, inclusivity, body positivity, and all of that, and I think women want that because I think it's about letting them be who they are and letting them experience. I mean, there is no perfect model. There's no perfect. I think the industry is moving away. The whole world is moving away from those thinking, and I think everything is each one to oneself. And my life is my life. I'm who I am, and I and beauty and fashion are empowering me to be who I am.
One of the issues that comes up in the beauty industry has to do with packaging and so on, and mostly because of this focus on climate change and the environmental impact and so on. Is that something that's central to Nika's thinking also?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, the young millennials are very, they're very authentic, and what they care for, the causes that they care for, they speak up. So we used to actually put a lot of bubble wrap, not primary use, but secondary use bubble wrap, and not virgin, but still they took objection to that and they wanted us to reduce it. So we have moved to paper packaging increasingly. However, the containers in which the beauty products come, they tend to be plastic because glass is heavy and expensive and also capable of breakage. So I think, if I may say, in the industry, still predominant uses on plastics. But India has come up with a new system where all of us who are in the business where we are using plastics, we have to do equal amount of reprocessing plastic, as well as, we have to facilitate movement of used plastics to kilns where it's used into manufacturing, so that there is no, we're not letting it go into landfill. But it's not individually you have to do that. You have to do it as a community, like as government is facilitating that we play our part into bringing that waste to certain processing centers.
Now you had a very exciting moment in 2021, and I'm not talking about the marriage of your children. I'm thinking of the IPO, and that was a huge step. How does it feel to be a public company? As successful as the IPO was.
The IPO is very successful, and I'm happy. Having been a banker who advised listing to everyone, it is something I really wanted for my company. For me, I give an anecdote that listing is something akin to college graduation for our children. Once they reach college graduation, you feel now they can have a life of their own, and there'll be a little less responsibility on you. So as an entrepreneur who started this, I wanted to see Nika graduate to being a company that can have a long-term future and can have a journey of its own over. Obviously, anyone who builds brands wants them to survive for really, really long term. So I would like that. And I think with IPO, it's a step towards giving company and its company independence to have its own future. So for me, it was a very meaningful moment. I think the amount of love we got from investors was unique. I think they understood our business model and they understood the balance we were trying to achieve between growth and profitability, because I am a believer that businesses have to be sustainable. If you don't make a business sustainable, then a lot of capital if at the end of that capital, if you don't have a sustainable business model, then what good it is, So I think it was important to build business in a way that it reaches a sustainable path. And I think that's what we try to do with Nika. And I think investor community recognized that and gave Nika, in some ways you can say, thumbs up. So IPO and listing was a big moment for me and the whole company and the family. And we are really happy on that. Of course, I was warned that it will mean a lot of responsibility, and from being very long-term oriented, it'll bring focus onto quarter-on-quarter earnings performance. And being a newly listed company, I can see that. I think you have to explain performance quarter-on-quarter. You have to explain the performance year-on-year. You have to explain vis-a-vis 2 years ago, vis-a-vis. So I think there is a lot of, and also vis-a-vis expectation. So there is a lot of complexity in running a listed company, and I'm feeling it. So yes.
You mentioned profitability and sustainability. What's really interesting about your company is you were profitable very early on, many years before going public. And I'm sure that explains part of the love that the market expressed for your company when you did go public.
Yeah, but I think we were profitable, and I think it was a conscious choice we made because India is such a big market that at any point in time, all e-commerce companies actually can be profitable at any point in time. But because the market is so large, I think even now the beauty e-com penetration is only 8% of total market. And in fashion, it's 12%. So there is a long way to go to increase the penetration of e-commerce. So all of us can spend more money to acquire new customers, and that cost would be obviously worth it in the long run. However, in this year, it would result in a loss. I think for Nika, what I showed to the community was that, yes, I understand that there are lots of customers and we can acquire them early. But if you acquire too many early and then you don't keep a balance you don't retain them, it's more important to acquire customers and retain them for the long run and continue to engage with them through strong CRM programs. And I think that choice that we made to optimize rather than maximize is what market really valued.
So if you look at the future, and I don't mean the next quarter, and I'm not asking you for guidance, but just your vision for the future, where do you see Nika 5 years from now?
So I think Nika is obviously a multi-brand retailer for beauty and fashion both now. I think Nika would love to play in the wellness space. However, I'm very acutely aware that any execution that we do needs a lot of technology, and we have to create platforms that really work well for the consumers. And that's where most of the investment and hard work is. So wellness, clearly, we want to focus on. We're also building a house of brands in the sense that there are many brands we have already in beauty, like Nika Cosmetics, Nika Naturals. We have a brand called K Beauty, which is our celebrity brand with Katrina Kaif, an actress, Bollywood actress. We also are building a number of brands in fashion, like a lingerie brand called Naked, NYKD. And we've acquired like more Western wear brands, Indian wear brands. So it's really exciting to build this, like if I may call it the future Estee Lauder from India. I would love to do that.
And what about expanding internationally?
I keep saying to my investors that I know Indians better, and I think our business model works because of our deep understanding of Indian consumer. And I'm in a way kind of afraid to embrace global markets. However, I think the feeling is that Indian tech platforms are very superior, and when you take them to additional markets, there will be some advantages. So we have decided to start with focus on Middle East, which is an easier and less served market, and then maybe even UK, where there is a lot of linkages with India. So we will start with these two markets. They'll be more like experiments, and if they work, then we'll have bigger ambition maybe.
So what are you most worried about? You told us your vision and where you want to take it. What do you think will be your biggest challenge?
I think today the biggest challenge is technology, and the technology is evolving so fast and really growing so rapidly that it's like you really have to identify and ride those technology trends. I remember we were very early in our journey when the apps became popular. And I remember we used to be on a website, and I decided that, okay, I'll make a very inexpensive app so that if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I can waste that money. And now, we are talking about the meta universe. We are talking about metaverse. We are talking about NFTs. I mean, every day, you don't know what technology to believe. I'm not even talking about, crypto, and we have to like really understand, because crypto doesn't affect Nika so much, but NFTs and also metaverse universe does affect. And what is our view on that? What is the investment we are going to make? And just one has to hope that technology just doesn't like move so fast that you get left behind.
Do you accept crypto as payment?
No, we don't. I think Indian government is guiding us on crypto at the moment, and they have a conservative view. So there's a lot of trading in crypto and all, but I think it's not become the currency of use.
So unfortunately, Falguni, we could go on and on and on, but we're running out of time, and it's getting later and later for you. Just in closing, you referred to millennials so much and to young people. Any words of advice that you would give them if they look at you, spotlight on you as a successful entrepreneur who didn't let people dissuade her, but pursued her dreams?
Well, I think, I'm so sorry to say this, Marie-Josèe, but I have to say that millennials don't like to listen to advice. So with 2 millennials in my family, I've learned one thing: never to give advice. I think the best thing you can do for millennials is to they learn by watching you, and I think your conduct and what you do, and I think they learn from that. I think gone are those times when anybody wanted to listen to anyone and on advice. However, what I can say, and I say that to a lot of entrepreneurs, not really to millennials, that I think entrepreneurship is a long journey and it's like a roller coaster ride. And please know that, commit yourself for longer term and enjoy it. And but at the same time, don't let the downs pull you down, and don't let the highs get to you. And I think if you can keep that, you can keep that semblance of, working at it, and lift up your spirit every day, even if the previous day was a lousy day. That's the only way to build a company.
Well, it's wonderful, Falguni. Congratulations on what you've achieved, and your humility in not giving advice is a real lesson to all of us. And I'm sure that as people watch your conduct and watch what you've done and your commitment and your steadfastness, they will learn their own lessons. So thank you so much, and congratulations to you and your family, because I know they're all involved with you and supportive of you. And I hope to see you soon in person.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, Marie-Josèe, and thank you very much for hosting me here. Thank you, everybody, the Economic Club of New York, and Barbara and everyone. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this wraps up our second session of the day, and our next session will start at 11:45, and we'll assess the differentiated impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and offer insights into how the public and private sectors can apply an intersectional lens to advance gender equality. This panel includes Mary Kay Henry, the International President of the Service Employers International Union, Gerard Wolf, Chairman of the Task Force on Sustainable Cities of MEDEF International and Vice Chairman of the Africa Committee, and Don Desjardins, Vice President and Deputy Chief Economist at Royal Bank of Canada, RBC, and moderated by the Economic Club of New York trustee, Rachana Saljani, founder of Girls Who Code and Marshall Plan for Moms. So you all should have received the link to join, and we look forward to seeing you after this short break in approximately 15 minutes. If for some reason you do not have the link, please reach out to events@econclubny.org. And thank you for joining us this morning.